Howdy folks, Keywii here, and welcome to Tuesday. So I wanted to take a break from my normal dumb antics and talk about something like actually real for a second. As you guys are aware, there is the Ontario-Quebec fires going on, and actually all of Canada is kind of burning at the moment, but those are the ones that are relevant to what I wish to talk about today. As you know, I do live in Ontario. Outside of the colorful, cartoony box that I put myself in on YouTube, I do live in Ontario, and I have been affected by the smoke and, well, not so much the fires; they're up north, but you know what I'm saying. So a big issue that I've come across, and I want to talk about specifically, is not so much the fires as people's reactions to them. The fires have been bad, and I'm not going to dispute that. People uh, homes are burning, people are dying. Very big tragedy right now. Now, how do people react to that? Well, I know everyone that I personally know, everyone that I personally talk to, and like is my friend or family. We're all concerned, and we're all struggling through it together because I I am not dealing with the worst of it, but it is in the area. I live in a very particular part of southwestern Ontario that is relatively safe from the smoke. Definitely safe from the fire, but relatively safe from the smoke. What I mean by that is that it hasn't been extreme here. It's only been bad. It hasn't been to the point of what you've seen in the pictures for New York City or what you haven't seen for Toronto, because this is the internet, and let's face it, it's very American centric. But we're not going to get into that. An issue I wanted to share that I've had personally, two issues actually. The first is a little less problematic, but I have noticed an issue with people. There was a joke made in one of the New York papers about the Blame Canada image, which I'm sure you've seen, but if you haven't, essentially it was like New York in the orange haze of the smoke, and it's like, blame Canada, it's their fire, blah blah. It was clearly a joke, and I took it as such. I thought, oh, that's cute, you know. But a big problem with that, I've noticed, is that not everyone took it as a joke. A lot of people were deeply and personally offended, and while I get that some people, that might be the case, that not everyone has the same level of sense of humor that would be applicable to. Not everyone has the same level of dark humor that would form levity for, which is very important. Levity and morale are very important for tragedies like this. You need to be able to laugh at yourself in order to deal with stuff like that. So what I wanted to say is that I am unfortunately noticing a trend, not just now, but in our modern age, where no joke whatsoever can be okay, because no one knows how to take a joke. Not that it isn't funny, because it is a little early. Maybe they could have waited a week or two, but I do get it, and I have always enjoyed what I determine is what I refer to as Canadian humor, which is self-deprecating to a touch, but also, like, we know how to take the piss out of ourselves. The British way is where that term comes from. We know how to laugh at our own, I guess, flaws and stuff, or rather we used to anyway. I don't know about so much anymore. It definitely, since about 2016, 2017, no real jokes have been made, and we don't really know how to laugh at ourselves anymore. And a big problem of that is all the people who are a problem who aren't joking. People who say everything is wrong and they intend it, and there is. This brings into my next point, where a lot of people are blaming the Trudeau government for the fires, saying it was a climate scam, which doesn't even make any sense. But I'll get to that. A lot of people just saying that the government is behind all of it, and you shouldn't trust, and the liberals and oh, the climate change isn't real, and it's all a scam, and clearly the smoke is to attack the United States or some. I've actually heard that, and it's ridiculous. The first issue with that is logistics. The fires out west in Alberta and BC, there's roads to those. There's infrastructure in place for those. You could go to those locations and start a fire if you chose. No one did, to clarify, but you could do that. In Ontario and Quebec, that is not the case. I'm not sure if you heard of a little known thing referred to as the Canadian Shield. It is essentially where the glacier hit the hardest and why the Great Lakes exist. Geography lesson for you. And it essentially means that in the last 10,000 years, almost no soil has come back. The glacier scraped off every bit of dirt and rock and stuff. It is exclusively bedrock up there, with like a thin layer of topsoil that trees grow out of. But nothing else. That's it. You can't farm off of that dirt. You can't build roads there because the land is splotchy and covered in a trillion different tiny freshwater lakes. There is no infrastructure in a lot of northern Ontario and northern Quebec. You just can't do that. It is beyond our capabilities at this time. We would need to invest a lot of money, and no one's really doing that. So, it would be helpful if we could. We would have a lot more places for people to live, but no agriculture. It's not desirable land. No one's going to do it. That being said, a lot of the fires that are affecting New York, which is the ones people are complaining about, all of the smoke from those fires is coming from the Ontario-Quebec fires, not from the ones out west, which, again, are a tragedy, but not what we're referring to today. So, the issue with that is that people are claiming that all of the fires were started intentionally all at once, which doesn't make any sense. Again, logistics. You cannot get up there. There are no roads. Using planes would be a nightmare to logistically set up, to have any setup going anywhere at any time. There is no organization. The world is not organized. People don't understand this. Some people, not all people. If you're watching this and you're not upset by what I'm saying, then you're clearly one of the smart ones. But no government body is organizing anything at all. Just to clarify, you couldn't get the liberals and the conservatives to agree on pizza toppings. You can't get them to bipartisan control the entire fucking world. NASA is not in charge of Antarctica, the ice wall, flat Earth. Nothing is that you're talking about is real. There's just no actual basis for any of it. There is no conspiracy where the government is in charge of anything, and I'm not working for the government telling you that, because that would be so fucking stupid. No, use your brain for a second. There's no infrastructure. There's no logistics. There's no organization. Liberals can't even get crap. They can't even get bills passed half the time, let alone orchestrate a fire to convince people that there's a climate thing. Climate change is real. It's just actually happening. Think for a second. The Earth isn't flat. You could see the curvature of the Earth from a fucking point. Anyway, I'm getting off topic, and that is not what I wish to do. I just wish to, I guess, share my thoughts on the fires going on. Currently, as of today, it is raining. As of the last few days, it has been raining, and it's been all right. It's you can't see it in the window behind me because that's a static image, but hopefully the rain helps put out some of the fires. I don't know if it's raining up north. It's definitely raining where I live, and that's helping. It is kind of acid rain because all of the smoke, the CO2 from the smoke, has imparted into the clouds, and it is raining down on us. It is acid raining, and that's not good. Be careful out there, but yeah, the smoke in New York is just going to continue. I apologize. That's just how it's going to be, because there is no easy way to put out the fires. Because unlike the West, there is no infrastructure to our fires. We need to very calmly and rationally orchestrate a way to put them out. If it were one, no one would care. There are forest fires all over the place all the time. But we don't have a history of having to deal with these things on the central East Coast area for Canada, because our forests are too wet to burn like this. So it is definitely a new thing, due to climate, actually. Due to climate change. It is the longitude of, or I guess the latitude of where dry heat happens is slowly moving upward because we don't know how to take care of our Earth. So it's going to get hotter and drier to the south. It's going to become more desert everywhere down there. And it's going to become drier and more tropical up here as time goes on. 40 years, there's going to be palm trees growing up here. All the actual nice oak and birch forests that all the birch trees are going to be gone, and I'm going to be so disappointed because they're so lovely to look at. It's nice, writing on birch parchment. It has a very nice crunching sound. Anyway, I'm over 10 minutes. I don't want to spend too much time dwelling on what could be and what will be. I just want you to know that I'm doing okay. My friends are doing okay. We are not going outside in the smoke. I'm not going outside in general because I'm just kind of a hermit. But thank you for any concern you would have, any concern that you will have. Thank you anyway just for watching this video and for showing your support via the audience retention. That's always important to me. Even if you don't leave a comment or a like or whatever, just watch the video. That's all I've ever wanted. But anyway, thank you for listening, and I hope you have a good day. Please stay safe out there.